Hey, guess what? I'm not at home. I'm in my car. And so hopefully this works out. Okay, I'm streaming from my phone. This thing's, I gotta put it on the charger. So I'm at my son's gymnastics and wanted to get some work done. And I will be at my son's birthday party. Well, it's a birthday party. He's with somebody else, his friend, for like 2 hours this afternoon. So I'm going to be working then as well. So, yeah. What? Oh, what I'm working on is data consistency stuff with the transaction ID. So on every primary, non-primary request. So yeah, actually I can demonstrate the problem first. So I'm in the primary region and I go, here we go. I guess already exists. Okay, so, and we can make a new note, another new note from Dan. Okay, so that's the primary region. We can pop this open. We say save, and we see, oh, interesting. Oh, the primary region is not Denver, actually. The primary region is not shown here. Oh, that's interesting. I was expecting the primary region to be, or I was expecting the regions to all be shown here. But anyway, I'm pretty certain that the primary region is Mumbai. And so we experienced the problem. What happened was this got posted. Yep, the fly region that handled it was MAA because we redirected that to the primary region where we can do database writes. And then revalidation happened, and reads come from the closest region to you, so it's as fast as possible. But unfortunately, we read from the Denver region before the data that was written in Mumbai was copied over to Denver. So we read it too fast, is basically what that amounted to. So the solution is to make sure, so like every region has a transaction ID and like that is stored in a special file. And when there is a write, we get that transaction ID is updated. So on this request, we need to update a cookie in the user's browser that says the transaction ID that they are on. And then when it goes to make this request, it's going to say, here's the transaction ID I'm on. And we'll just say, oh, okay, could you hold off for just one little bit while I wait for that transaction ID to be live on my machine. Yeah, and it just occurred to me that this will be a problem because we'll be waiting for transaction IDs anytime anybody does any mutation. So that's probably not what we want. What we really want is only after I have made a mutation. So after I've made a mutation, then we get the cookie set, and then once the transaction ID has been surpassed, then from there we delete the transaction ID from the cookie. So that way we're not waiting for all the GET requests. Okay, and we're gonna look at this special files because we have our dbpose file. So if we do fly ssh console and select, and then we select, sure, it actually shouldn't matter. Then there, that's where that file is. So SQLite.db-pose for position, where that the position of that file, I guess, in transaction history. Okay, I'm gonna switch this up to be more facing me. This will be much more comfortable. Oh, also, by the way, if you're new here, I ignore YouTube chat and chat only in Discord. There's a link in the description. Looks like the bot has yet to create that channel. Probably YouTube's fault. It takes a while sometimes for YouTube to let me know that there's a new video, so the bot can create that channel. So anyway, so with that, just wanted to get what the contents of the file looks like. So with that, we are going to be looking in our entry server here. Yeah, this is weird. Maybe this didn't push properly. Fly app and fly instance should be available here, but we're not getting those. Oh, this is data requests, and actually I bet I didn't put those. Yep, there it is. I did not put those in there. There we go. So now we'll have that. That'll be nice. And yeah, there's more that I want to do in there, but yeah, and we'll do it. Let's see, utils, server. I won't worry about it right now. So yes, when we make a request, whether it's data request or not. See, the interesting thing is in here, we don't have express. This is just the remix serve thing. So we don't have any way to say, there's no, currently in remix, no middleware concept. I wonder if that's on the roadmap. Remix roadmap. Yep, here it is. It's planned. This will be super helpful, so I can ditch Express and just rely on remix serve. In particular, I want to be able to my specific use case includes auth, of course, but also I'm working on implementing this. Things get kind of funny when you distribute your data, but want to make sure there's consistency as well. Pick 2, add 1. What is it? It's consistency, availability, and is it reliability? Pick 2. I don't, yeah, partition, yeah, that's right. Consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. So distributing my data gives me partition tolerance, and that's what I'm getting is partitioning. Availability, yeah, ensures that it's available, but I also want to have consistency. So the partition tolerance is the thing that makes the consistency tricky. So what I'm doing is, I guess I am sort of suffering a little bit on the availability because it's going to be a little slower, but yeah, it's going to work out all right. So basically, when a user makes a mutation in a non-primary region, I need to force them to wait until that data has been propagated I cannot spell propagated, to their region before they okay, cool. So really looking forward to this. This will be really, really nice. Okay. Anyway, with that said, starting to think, I really would love to avoid having to use Express, because Rocket Rental is going to have to be just like this one. And so if I can avoid using Express in here, then Rocket Rental doesn't have to use Express. And that middleware thing will solve it. So I could start with Express and then pull back and go back to just Remix Serve, which would be nice. Anyway, so if in what I could do, at least for now, is I could have it replay. You know what? This only really matters for. No, it could matter for document requests too. Okay, so let's do this. Has latest or never make the function first. Just put it in line first. Okay. We are gonna need this to be like what I've got in. There we go. I've got a handy dandy utility. Called get instance info, which we are going to use. Okay. Here, while we're at it, we'll just do this here. Okay, cool. So okay, so now we say if not the current is primary, then we're gonna get we're just gonna check whether the user has the special cookie or not. So txid session server ts. It's gonna look a lot like, oh, no, just kidding, not a lot like that. It's gonna look like Rocket Rental's version of that. Session server. It's a lot simpler. Oops. We don't need secrets for this. I don't care what transaction. I don't care if you know what transaction ID you're on. Okay, so then we'll start as txid session from okay, and then txid. Oh, whoops, this is async. Wait. Get txid key. You know what? Forget that. We don't need a special session for this. We'll just put it in their regular session. So for non-primary, check for the session ID. If txid, then we'll do something. Yeah, so we'll now we gotta find the txid, which we're gonna find by reading this file. Only do this on fly. Yeah, still want to make this some sort of global variable or something. I think I figured out how to do that actually. Apply LiteFS dir in Docker file. Oh, forget that. Just do this. Actually. Okay. So we'll get our txid string trim. Let's rename this session txid. Okay, so now we've got the txid parse int txid 16. Okay, so actually is the txid Yeah, the checksum is the second half. We don't care about that. Local tx number, session tx number, if the session tx number is greater than the local tx number, then we need to, in this case, like, so we've got some options, but I think what I'm going to do is actually we're going to return a replay response. This will be easier and also potentially faster. Not necessarily, but potentially. It just means that the primary is going to have to do more work. But it should only be when users are what's the word I'm looking for? When users make the mutation. The primary is doing more work anyway because we're replaying, so okay, get fly response. There, actually I've got this over here. Okay, yeah, so if the session number we're going to need to do this out here. If process env.fly, just stick all this in here, and we're going to invert this. I'll do this right there. If current is primary, then we'll say if there's session txid, then one of the headers we want to have the session dot unset txid response headers append set cookie. That's not how that works. Copilot. Commit session. Wait. Commit session. What? Oh, session storage commit. So if we're in the primary and there's a session transaction ID, then we're going to unset that so they no longer end up going into here. Otherwise, if there's a set, don't worry, we're going to refactor this. I think we can actually do this. Oh wait, no, because we have an else case here. So we're not in the primary, and there's no transaction ID. Then we don't do anything actually. So yeah, we can wrap all this and get rid of that. So now it's saying is that how that? Yeah. Okay, so now it's saying if there's a session transaction ID, then we're going to do something. If there's not, then we just ignore it. This is only we only care if there's a transaction ID in the session. Is that the case? When are we going to set it? We only set that in post requests. So we will need to deal with that, but let's focus on this right now. So if there's a transaction ID and the current is primary, then we'll get rid of it. Otherwise, if we're not in the primary, then we need to make sure that the transaction ID that they've got is, well, we'll see if the session is greater than the local. And if it is, then we want to replay to get to the primary. Otherwise, so what this is effectively doing is it's getting our code path into here. As well as like reading from the latest data. Otherwise, if the session, or if the local is greater than or equal to the session, then we can do this as well. Copy paste will abstract later. Why does that look so funny? Yeah, because of these trim split nonsense. We'll refactor it, don't worry. Okay, so that's how we deal with one that's set. Now, how do we set one? So we're going to set one if the method is a post. And we'll want to do this same logic in here too, but okay, so we've got a transaction ID. So do we only do this if the method is a get? Yeah, so we'll say if, and actually we don't care about what the transaction ID is, if the method is a post. So if request.method is get, is that what this could be? Does it need to be capital? Yeah. Yeah, I only do gets and posts. I don't do anything else. Yep, basically that. I will not allow anything but gets and posts. So there you go. Okay, so if it's a get, we'll do all that stuff. If it's a post, now we've got to set the transaction ID. And this actually works out nicely here because by this time all mutations have happened. So if I do end up moving this, we need to make sure that we account for that and don't set the transaction ID until transactions or mutations have happened. So here it's saying if the current is primary, I'll set the transaction ID. That's not correct. We need to get the transaction ID. And set the cookie. And if it's not, then this shouldn't have happened in the first place. No, that can happen. Yeah. Okay, cool. So Oh, wait. No. Yeah. Okay, I think that should work. The problem is that this is going to be extremely difficult to test because this position file is only available on within LiteFS, and I still haven't figured out how to run locally in Docker because I am a Docker dork. Is that, can we say that? I don't know. Oh, okay, so handle txid. I don't know, I hate it. I hate that altogether. Okay, this is going to be async. We're going to take a request. And response headers. And we'll just do that. Cool. And then so here we're returning, we're not throwing, so maybe response. And then we'll do the same thing here. And okay, remix docs. Request perhaps context. What are you complaining about? No dupe args. Oh. There we go. We can do all those headers there, sure. Nope, we don't want that one. Nope, right there. Okay, cool. Well, all we can do now is run it locally and make sure it doesn't break. Uh-huh. We got a replay. Should not replay. Should only happen if we're in fly. Whew, that was close. Glad I didn't have my .env open. Okay, give me a second. Where am I? OBS. There we go. Now you just see me. Let me open up LiteFS.env. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Huh. So I'm not sure how that ended up sending that reply. unless I messed this up. Yeah, I changed this a bit. So if process env fly and current is not the primary. Here we go. Yeah, that's what happened. I messed that up. Okay, cool. Try that again. This is why we test. Alright. New note. New note. Okay, so sweet. I didn't break it for regular uses. Notes should be a dot ignored. Oh, and actually let's do now we can do this. Yep, that is much better. Add transaction ID cookie info. Okay, this takes a minute, and my son is going to come out of gymnastics soon, so hopefully this is faster than that. There we go. I don't think I show anything, but just in case, you're gonna look at my beautiful face. Just kidding. But not really. You are not going to look at this. That's what I mean to say. Okay, and we're back. Sweet. So, add transaction ID, and this is still up and running, and nice and fast. Look at this. Every time server rendered, bam, 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 bam. That's what I call instant. Yep. Anything less than 100 milliseconds is instant, and anything less than 200 basically is. Your break is coming up. Begin to come out of flow. I've got a break coming up. How about give me 7 more minutes, and then I won't take a break anyway. Hey, there it is. Don't know if anybody's been chatting in there. Probably better check. Yep, hello. Okay, sweet. Caching takes a second. And now we're deploying. You know, one thing I just realized I didn't think about was what happens if this file doesn't exist. We're going to throw an error. Should probably try catch that. not a TX ID. If there's not a TX ID, you probably better unset it in the session. How do I parse int? Let's give me nan. Let's just make that 0. So if we do 0.trim.split 0, and then yep, parse int 16. There it is. And then that will always be lower, so we can unset it. Yep, that's what we should do. Okay, it's almost done. Yeah, LiteFS has a little bug in it that means things are flowing a bit and things restart a couple more times than they need to. Now that's interesting. Invariant is not a function. Oh, great. That's in start. Oh, goodness sake. Node other start. Yeah, okay. Some fixes. But it worked, or it deployed anyway. So let's see, we'll make sure we've got our fly instance stuff. Fly region. Primary instance is different than the one I'm touching, so the primary instance is MAA. Let's see what happens when I delete. Yeah, rats. Let's see if we got logs. Interesting. So we ended up not replaying that one. Well, let's try this. Maybe I just forgot to ensure new note low. Okay. So that one. Yeah, same problem. Yeah, we've got some problem with our logic for determining primary, I think. Probably. Could also be a problem with, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look at that later. Because my son's here. See ya! Thanks for hanging out.